again, this is Prime News. I'm Michael Anos. Right now, we are monitoring a courtroom in San Diego, California, where we should soon see the man accused in Chelsea King's disappearance. In just minutes, John Gardner is expected to be formally charged with rape and murder. 17-year-old Chelsea King vanished on Thursday. She was out for a jog in an upscale park. Then yesterday, the horrific discovery. A body believed to be Chelsea buried in a shallow grave along a lake nearby. And now more disturbing details coming out about this suspect's M.O., his possible ties to other attacks on two other girls. As always, we take your calls, your questions, your theories. 1-877-TEL-HLN's the number. Joining us to talk about this, we welcome back Sunny Hostin from In Session on our sister network, Truth TV. Also with us, HLN law enforcement analyst Mike Brooks and Craig Gustafson, reporter for the San Diego Union Tribune. Craig, first off, let's get back to the basics. Has there been a positive ID of Chelsea as of this point?
Not yet. I just got off the phone with the medical examiner's office, and they say it's a sealed case, and so they aren't going to announce whether it was positively identified. It's probably due to because he's going to be arraigned this afternoon, and they're just trying to keep a tight lid on all the information.
Okay, again, let's be clear. He's due in court any minute, Craig.
Yeah.
Tell us about the charges, rape and murder, right?
Well, that's what we believe the charges are going to be, rape and murder. But we just confirmed with the courthouse source that the public defender's office is going to represent him, and they've assigned 2 attorneys to the case, which indicates a strong possibility that he's going to face the death penalty.
Okay, let's bring in Sunny Hostin on that point. Sunny, you concur with Craig there? You hear 2 public defenders like that, death penalty?
Absolutely, absolutely. And I think, Mike, the bottom line is he is a registered sex offender and so has been convicted of this kind of crime before. And so I think there's no question, given the circumstances as we know them or as that we're learning them, that the prosecution would be considering the death penalty.
Okay, let's bring in Mike Brooks on this. Mike, we've talked about it. Let's lay out for the viewers once again. What evidence could they have right now against this guy?
Well, apparently, Mike, they did have some underwear that had his DNA, Gardner's DNA on it. And, you know, yesterday while we were unfolding, this was all unfolding, they noticed a shoe. So apparently they also found a shoe, and then a short distance from that shoe on a tributary off of Lake Hodges was the body of Chelsea King in a shallow grave, as they described yesterday evening.
Craig, are authorities talking about, and I know it's early, but have any idea when and how Chelsea was murdered?
Well, they know that she left school at 2 o'clock last Thursday and went to a park nearby to go for a jog. And her father and mother came home from work, and about 5:45 they noticed she was missing, and used some technology to track her cell phone and found her blocked car in the park.
Mike, as we look at this and we've seen what has happened here, do you think she was abducted, taken away, and then brought back? Or do you think the attack happened and it was all in a matter that Craig's saying right after she went for the jog, she was raped and murdered?
I think it was right after she went for the jog, she was raped and murdered, Mike. You know, the body was found in the same vicinity around the jogging path because this Lake Hodges has a very, very long shoreline, and this is where she would go to run. And it was often just a small tributary off of Lake Hodges where her body was found. But keep in mind, Mike, December 27th of last year, another girl from Colorado who was visiting friends, relatives in the area, was attacked in the same park. And they believe that also Gardner may have been involved in that. They apparently were able to retrieve some DNA off of her elbow because she hit the perpetrator in the face. And they're going to analyze that to see if, in fact, this is related to Gardner, as well as the disappearance in February of 2009 of Amber Dubois. If she was on her way from Escondido High School and just vanished in the thin air.
Yeah. Amber Dubois' mom was on the Nancy Grace show last night talking about the similarities between Amber and Chelsea when you talk about the look. And Sunny Hostin, when we hear this and we know the history of this guy, again in 2000, as you point out, he was convicted of a lewd act. And let's get more specific than that. He's on top of a 13-year-old, punching her, trying to strangle her. Again, only gets 5 years in prison. It's just unthinkable when a court-appointed psychiatrist said, don't let him out. He's going to be a continued danger to young girls. It's still just as infuriating. Sunny, as you've looked at this, How does that go down? How is that the voice of a court-appointed psychiatrist not heard here?
I gotta tell you, I'm infuriated just reading everything, just listening to what you just said, Mike. You know, I'm a former child sex crimes prosecutor, and so when I hear something like this, it just goes to show you that our system is broken in so many ways. I can't believe that something like this would happen when a court-ordered psychiatrist says to the court, says to the government, says to the defense team, this guy is dangerous and will offend again. For that to be just dismissed is unbelievable to me. I would really need to know more about the circumstances because it's just something that typically does not happen.
Yeah.
Mike, apparently
Go
a
ahead, Mike.
colleague of Dr. Matthew Carroll, the one who did, the psychiatrist who did the evaluation back in 2000 and recommended the maximum 30-year penalty against this guy, a colleague of his says that the doctor is very frustrated that they did not listen to him and heed his warnings that he was a danger to underage girls in the community.
Yeah, I couldn't imagine what he's going through. A man who spoke with Gardner and knew the danger that could take place. All right, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we'll take your comments and questions. Your calls, 1-877. Tell HLN's the phone number. We're going to backtrack a little bit as well. What happened? When was this guy arrested? What were the circumstances concerning that as well? Stay with us.
What's sad is somebody wrote on the mother's house to move out in red paint on the garage door. I mean, the mother had nothing to do with this. I mean, why are they targeting the mother? Go paint the jail and tell them to, you know, give them the electric chair or something, but don't target the mother. People have to find something better to do.